And we're back.
We are back in the building. Different sides of the world, though, today.
Yes, the commitment to making it to 10 podcasts. So Jodie is away, which this is really sad because I was actually meant to be there and we were going to be crossing over. So I'm not there.
Oh,
But you are in America. You're in
I
Miami
am.
now, aren't you? You've
I'm
gone
in
from,
Miami now.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was in Pittsburgh until we flew into Miami first thing yesterday. So, yeah, it's been great. Though the weather in Miami has been a bit up and down. It's like rains for about 10 minutes and then it's baking hot. So you've got to take an umbrella and your sunglasses.
Oh, oh, the troubles of the rain for 10 minutes.
I mean, at least it's 30 odd degrees. I'm sure it's not 30 odd degrees in the
Yeah,
UK.
it's reasonably warm, but I would say
Okay.
that the rain is lasting more than 10 minutes.
I shouldn't complain, but I've been doing us proud in Walmart.
Oh,
I think
well
I'm
done.
actually gonna buy an extra suitcase to just fill it with goodies
Yeah,
to come
I'm going
home
to be
with.
sending Matt a list of things that he needs to be bringing back for me, so to compensate for the fact I'm not there.
Sad times.
But we have had the PCA first timers and naturals, so it was busy to be fair, considering we
I
keep having
expected them to
like
be.
yeah, considering we've had like classes that have had like one or two people in, like the fact they had to split the masters 35 plus into short and tall, and there was nine people in each of those classes for the first timers. It was busy. They had well the
Yeah.
masters as a whole, even the 45 plus had eight people. I wrote it all down because it was crazy. The bikini short had seven people, and even on the naturals the next day, bikini short had seven people again. So very busy weekend.
Was that the first naturals of the season?
Potentially, that might be why. I
Yes,
feel like
well,
I've
the
got everything
natural
else.
shows have always been busy. Like, so it's obviously, I think
Yeah,
it's
I
the
think it was.
third year that they've been doing naturals now. And like the first year that they did naturals, it was in a really odd part of the season. I want to say it was like June or something like that. So it was kind of a bit like, is it going to be busy or is it not? But it ended up being one of the busiest shows in the whole of the PCA UK calendar that year. And that's why then last year they ended up doing, I think it was four
Yeah.
regionals with the championship show afterwards. And I don't think any of them were quiet. I mean, I know that the Naturals 4, which was the one the day before the Naturals Championships, like Bikini was still on stage at like 9 o'clock at night. It was stacked.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
had a
yeah,
client do that show. She was in the Masters and she didn't get on stage till like 7 o'clock. It was so busy.
yeah.
So yeah, but it's great to see it, and it's nice that they've brought out more. And I feel like that's going to be the same route with the Masters this year. So they've got the one Masters, and it is like basically sold out already, isn't it? I think they've probably got
I,
like a
th-
few more things.
I think
And
the
as
Masters Championships went like 75% full in like the first 3 or 4 weeks, like something
yeah,
like that. I was like, what on earth?
I've
But I
got a
love
couple
it.
girls already doing it. They were like, "Should
I've
I
got
just?" I was
four
like,
doing it.
it's literally. I was like, "Just get in there." I was like, "If you want to do it, get in there. It's going to go quick." But I do think that's going to be like the same as the naturals. Like they did the one, tested the water. It was bloody popular. So now I imagine they'll probably bring out a couple next year just to buffer it out because it is popular. Like there's getting more and more masters.
Yeah, I do wonder if, just going on to the naturals, whether at some point they'll have a natural pro division. Because it's been very popular, and I think that they still award pro cards to the naturals. So at the naturals championships, they awarded them in the same way that they would like the pro qualifier
Yeah,
shows. So like, you know, like the Welsh, for example, you've got to win the overall to be
yeah,
able to
yeah.
win a
Rather
pro
than per
card. Like
week.
they did that with the naturals championships last year, where the overall winners were considered for a pro card. But I do wonder if at some point, if it carries on being as popular as it is, if they will do it like they do the British potentially, where it's consideration for every class. And then obviously if there are enough natural pros, then there's argument for a naturals division.
Yeah.
But as we always know with PCA, they won't give a pro card to anybody, assisted or not, if they don't think that you can be competitive in the pro division. I think that's always the question when it comes to the naturals, particularly I think if you look at classes like open bodybuilding, like I've seen some incredible physiques in open bodybuilding natural shows, but you also know from looking at some of them sometimes that it's like if you put them next to some of the UK PCA pros or even internationally the open bodybuilder pros, that they wouldn't be competitive. So, you know, for some of the classes, there's an argument that even if they are outstanding for naturals, they might not be competitive against the existing pros in the pro division.
The same with like the NPC route, isn't it? Like that you can do the naturals, and you can like as a natural pro, you can do the natural shows, but it's only like bikini, men's physique, and classic that can actually get their qualification for Olympia because essentially the other guys and girls they won't stack
Stack
up,
up,
so they
yeah.
don't get the qualification in a natural one because they just
Don't get
won't
me
be.
wrong. Like I said, I've seen some really impressive natural
Oh
physiques.
yeah.
Like it's like, and they all. Whenever I go to the natural shows, I'm always blown away. I'm like, Jesus! Like some of these people look like they could be assisted, but they're not.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it sends a really positive message out to bodybuilding of what is possible without assistance, because I think we're moving more into a generation now where it's like you've got to take drugs to be competitive, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that that's necessarily always the case, but I think people are more willing now than they maybe were in the past. But I think the naturals still showing up with incredible physiques sets a standard to people that's like, look what you can achieve without
Yeah.
having to go down that route. So like, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see, like, it's kind of like when PCA started their pro division, it wasn't all that competitive because you had to win the overall at British Championships to get a pro card. So like the build-up of the pro division was small. But obviously once they then started getting more pros into the pro division, it became more competitive. So I do wonder if maybe it might, I mean, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I think that at the rate that the natural shows are
Yeah.
growing, there could be an argument for that maybe in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, how popular they are. It's a
And I think
route that
Korea have a naturals championships, I want to say.
yeah, and PCA as a whole are just expanding everywhere anyway, aren't they? Which is absolutely crazy. But that is something as well. That's something we spoke about just before the podcast. Is I know I've been hanging on about this bloody fit model category.
There
This
she is again,
weekend
people.
was so
Please don't click off now. She is going to go in on this
so
again. Though.
prime for fit model because especially if you're going down, if you don't want to go down the assisted route, like the fit model's great for that.
Yeah.
Obviously there are some assisted fit model people, but you're even saying like the NPC side of things, you're watching the fit model pro show and those girls are stacked, they're just not as lean,
Yeah,
so
I think I'm not going to lie. Like I was one of those people that when the fit model division got announced for NPC, I was very pro fit model, and I was actually super shocked at how negative the general bodybuilding community were about that division, because I was like, right, you're constantly slagging off people turning up to bikini and not having enough muscle, and now they've actually created a division that allows those people to go into a category where they can be more competitive, and the bikini athletes can actually compete against people that are truly bikini athletes, and you're now discrediting that it makes no sense to me. So like I was actually really pleasantly surprised when I went to the Pittsburgh Pro to watch Frankie in bikini. I watched the Fit Model Pro show before, and these girls are not small. Like I don't care what anybody says, like they are not far off the size of some of the bikini girls. Like you couldn't be a gym goer that had just got in the gym a year ago and started training and be like, right, I'm going to be a top level fit model girl. Like these girls have got some serious muscle under their frames. They're just not as lean. They still are lean. Like, don't get me wrong. Like by normal person standards, like they're not people that just decided 3 weeks ago to jump into a bodybuilder prep and chuck themselves on stage. Like, the level of condition is still beyond what most normal people would be willing to push themselves to. It's just not as extreme as the other categories. And I think that PCA still need to find their way in terms of what they want for fit model. But I think for anyone that thinks that fit model isn't an impressive category, I think they actually need to go out there and watch some of the NPC shows where that category is a bit more established now, and we're seeing the pros come through. These girls are not small. And I think that you can see that because there's IFBB pro bikini girls that are stepping down into fit model and competing successfully. So you can't...
Well, just like the UK as a whole, like we aren't, we're not the best, like compared to America, like we do, like wellness isn't as good, bikini isn't always as good, and fit model clearly isn't as good. And we are a bit behind to develop in that sense. And obviously PCA taking their time with things, but ultimately they can't do a lot if no one enters it.
Absolutely.
So that standard's never going to be set. And when you think first timers and naturals, that's prime for fit model. So there's some of the girls that competed, like we won't go into all that detail, but some of the girls that competed this weekend, potentially from our point of view, should have been in different categories, like providing they got into condition. And that's our opinion with things, whether that's wellness to bikini, whether that's bikini to fit model. And I think that's that understanding. And sometimes you want to maybe be in the category because that's what you've always wanted to be. But then it's also looking at like, what is that criteria and what is your physique, and going where you're going to fit the best, and then going from there.
Yeah, I think that the problem is that I think a lot of people jump into prep having not really touched anywhere near stage leanness, and so they just go
Especially
off what they're... Pardon?
Especially as a female.
Oh, yeah. And I think that what happens is that they go into a prep either based on what their off-season shape looks like or what their tidy-up physique looks like. But we also know that a lot of us suffer with... I say suffer. I love a bit of favourable body fat placement, especially if it's in my glutes. So it's, I get it, but I think that most of us, and I include myself in this, maybe back in the day, should have an open mind as they go through prep that they could potentially be a better fit for a different category once they get truly stage lean. And I think some of the mistake that people are making as well is that instead of pushing to true stage leanness and moving to a different category that better reflects them, they're holding back on pushing for true leanness because they want to maintain a shape that fits a category that they want to compete in. And it's like, if I take wellness as a prime example for that, I've had conversations with people in the past where they've gone, do you think that I should push for more condition? And I'm like, yes. Because you can't see the muscle definition clearly enough. And the challenge I've always got back is, my coach is worried that I might lose my lower body dominance if I push for condition. It's like, well, then you're just not wellness. Like that, trying to hold on to body fat to stay in a category is not really reflective of what you fit. If you get leaner and you just end up being bikini, then just be more competitive in bikini with a physique that better fits that criteria. There's no shame in being in any of the categories. It's just be competitive in the one that fits you best.
If you had seen me when I first started and when I was in like my off season, because I'm only short, I'm like everything's compressed. Everyone, like so many people would be like, "Oh, are you wellness?" And I'm like, nope. As soon as I got lean, I didn't even have the glute. I had no glutes, no hamstrings, so nothing for bikini, let alone for wellness. And it was just that was where my body fat sat. Then you got the flip side where people you want to be in bikini and then you push and push and push because you're like, I'm looking for a glute ham tie. But again, if you're new to it, you're not going to have that muscle either. So
I can't begin to tell you, even now, as a well-established PCA pro. I can't begin to tell you how many people tell me that I should be doing figure or have told me in the past that I should be doing figure. And I'm like, well, no, because when I actually pull off the amount of body fat that's needed to fit the category, I am nowhere near figure. I am bikini. Probably not the best example of bikini, but like I'm definitely not figure. Like I might look like it when you stand next to me and I've got a bit of body fat on and I pull the power pose. Like, you know, I would look bigger than your average bikini girl, but that doesn't make me figure. It just makes me a top end of what bikini is. And even then, I say that I look small in the pro divisions. So yeah, it's
So I think, yeah, understanding what the true criteria is, and again, don't hold on to body fat just to think that, oh, I need that unbalanced, or I need, if I push any harder, I'm just gonna, I won't have any legs left or whatever, or I need to push so hard I'm looking for a glute ham tie and you don't have one. Like, this is where, again, fit model, bikini, wellness, like understand they all need some muscle. So,
I
and then
think
it's just varying degree of what it is.
the only time I think it's a problem is if, and I've had this with not one of my clients, one of my posing clients before, where she started a prep in figure, and then as she got leaner, it was evident that her muscle level wasn't suitable for figure. And then mid prep, credit to her coach though, that her coach was like, "Do you know what, I've underestimated this and you're probably a better fit for the category criteria." But then obviously we had to go through the stress of then retraining the posing and everything like that to get her to fit the category criteria. But I have to give credit to the coach for not forcing her on stage in a category that didn't fit. But yeah, I think it's different if it's figure to a different category. But if you look at wellness, bikini and fit model for PCA, the posing is the same, bar some it's the same for fit model. Well, it can be the same for fit model and bikini.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is learn the bikini back pose for wellness and adjust the side poses to just stand up a little bit taller. Well, and the front pose.
Really,
Basically, it is different posing, but it's not hugely wildly different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a hard one.
So yeah. Anyway, but if you get a good posing coach, like us two, we'll explain that. So it's fine.
Yeah, I think like the only time it's hard is if you've got someone that's prepared for. I think it's easier with NPC, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you were preparing for NPC wellness and you were a better fit for bikini, then it's easy to do that transition because the poses are the back pose and the front
just
pose.
Adjust to your physique rather than the poses,
Yeah. Whereas like with PCA, it is a little bit more challenging because if you haven't developed your upper body, then you might not be a good fit for them for bikini either.
But that's when, we all start somewhere. Like, we all need to, that's the progression within the sport, isn't it? So, that should be the fun part. Don't see it as a negative thing. Be like, oh my God, I get to grow into this. Like, that, I'm along and I'm so excited to grow. My lower, not so much my upper.
See, I'm always the opposite.
So let's go into, because I've got my list here. So we've got the first timers. So let's make sure I'm sharing the right screen before I do this.
What else have you got open?
Just loads of client tabs. So have we got so we should have, this is just fit model. Can you see fit model? Is that all up? Perfect. So it was there was only one in fit model for the first timers and one girl in fit model for the naturals. Okay. So we had, I want to say her name was Kayla Ford. So, and unfortunately she was the only one. And especially, I know we've discussed this before, first timers, it's always a bit pants if you're the first one on and then you're also by yourself. But she carried herself nicely. She did some nice posing. She does, again, know the posing criteria. So I'd say we could maybe just careful with the arms a little bit to rein it in a little bit. But as a whole, as a first timer and fit model, I think she came together quite nicely and held her own very nicely as well. Say there could be some angle things where we could just make the waist smaller, show the glutes a little bit. But as I said, for the first time, being on stage and being by yourself is quite daunting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is the difference between maybe your experienced athletes and your first-timer athletes is I know that when we are on stage, we're very conscious of what shapes and angles we're trying to show. So, you know, we know the category criteria well enough to know how to make the waist look smaller, how to make the shoulders look bigger, and be very conscious when we're posing of exactly what the judges are looking for. Whereas your first timers are probably more like, I just need to, I just need to get through this and hopefully not mess up and do something like what my pose coach taught me. Do you know what I mean? So they're not necessarily, they're probably also thinking, oh my God, the lights are really bright, it's really hot up here, why is that person looking at me like that?
So much
I could see someone at the back of the stage when they told me I wouldn't be able to see the audience. Do you know, like there's lots going on. So I think, you know, we do appreciate that it's hard as a first timer because you don't know how you're going to feel about it until you get up there. But I think the confidence is nice. One thing I would say is it Kayla, did you say? Sorry, it's really small on my screen. Is I would get that hair off your shoulders. Because with PCA, they are judging your upper body. So I think that when it comes to, if there had been other people in the lineup, that could have hurt you because they can't judge what they can't see. Now, I don't know if it was different when you did your judged round. Obviously there wouldn't have been comparisons as such because there wouldn't have been other people on stage, but you would have gone on stage, done your quarter turns, they would have judged you then. And I don't know if maybe you moved your hair in that, and if you did, then what I'm saying is irrelevant. But just based on what I'm seeing here, there's the hair, like my hair is covering my shoulder here. The judges can't judge what they can't see, so I just be mindful of the fact that they are going to be judging that. They are going to be judging your upper body, so you don't want your hair to be covering anything that the judges want to see.
So, because if I share the next page, if I share this one, I always have to double check. Can you see Freya now?
No, I can just see us.
Oh.
I mean, you're very, very beautiful, but that's not what I've come here for.
Hang on. There we go. Let's see if it'll do it now. So this should be Freya.
Oh, yep, we'll do it. Yep,
Okay.
here's Freya.
So it's just a bit slow. So Freya, so she has actually competed before with PCA and she won her class then as well.
Yes.
But obviously so hence why she wasn't in the first timers.
First
But
timers.
she was the only one in naturals. But she's a good example as well in the sense of, you know, her hair, I know there's a little bit there, but how it
But
makes
it's not blocking the
her
shoulder.
shoulders. Yeah. So to be able to see her shoulders, to see her top line a little bit more, it does make a difference no matter what kind of category you're in,
Yeah.
especially because we want to see those illusions no matter what poses you're doing and what kind of category you are.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one of those things where, because I know that some coaches can give this direction to people where it's like, oh, if it's a weakness, hide it. I always feel like if you do that, then you're highlighting that you have a weakness. So it's like, you know, like I think the only category that you can get away with the hair on the shoulders a little bit is wellness. But even then with PCA, they are still wanting to see your shoulders. Like your back can be covered, but they still need to be able to see your delts and your rear delts. So yes, the hair placement can be strategic, and it, you know, if you're trying to hide a weak area, great. It's like how some people as well will teach that, oh, in the side poses, put your hand on your stomach because that makes it look smaller. And I can tell you as a judge,
Just go all the way around.
I can tell you as a judge, when I've judged,
it.
I immediately go, oh, okay, so your waist isn't that small. Because like you can see all these things that look a little bit odd, like they don't make anything look smaller. They just look odd and out of place. So it draws your attention to that area. And then you're trying to understand why they're doing something different to everybody else. But yeah. Did we want to touch on Freya? Or are we going to go all first timers and then all naturals?
We can it's only those two, so we can touch on both of them to be fair.
Yeah, I was just going to say on Freya, like with the back pose, I would just watch out for those hands getting a little bit too high. You know, I think a lot of us let the hands get higher as we get more keen when we're trying to open up those lats. But the shoulders are really important when it comes to bikini and fit model included in that. So you want to think about obviously making sure that you prioritize pushing those shoulders up and getting the lats open as much as you can without compromising your delt height. The higher the hands come, yes, you might be able to get your lats wider, but the higher the hands come and the wider the lats go, the more you're going to compromise your delt height, and that's probably going to hurt you a little bit in the fit model and bikini categories.
Yeah, so I normally try and say like because normally the common thing is when we lift our hands up or lift our arms up so high is because we're lifting through our arms and through our
Yeah.
wrists rather than lifting through our shoulders and lats. So it's just that kind of mind muscle connection of like learning how to lift things up more than anything.
Yeah.
Because obviously we can see it's a nice shape there, but having those arms lower is going to help that overall illusion. And like this shot, we can see glutes nicely here, waist nicely here. But on the other side shot, we just opened up a bit too much. So I'd say, obviously, fit model tends to be a bit quicker anyway, but just slow it down a smidge and then think about those angles, like especially in this front shot as well. I would say you could actually afford to twist this waist a little bit
More
more to
front
the
on.
front.
Yeah.
Help that because I think again we get very caught up thinking it needs to be to the side so it's as small as possible, but then that's not actually helping that overall silhouette as much. So just opening up a tiny bit and thinking about those shapes and taking your time with it. But otherwise, she presents like really nice confidence on stage, which is nice to
Oh,
see.
it's a really nice fit model look. Like I would say that this is in keeping with what I would expect to see for PCA fit model. You know, maybe a bit more muscle to just give the physique a little bit more pop. But like you know, I know this. I've said this before, but it's a weird thing. But like the finish of the physique is nice. It you know the tan is lovely. Really complements her physique.
Bikini is nice.
Yeah, and like there's lovely roundness to the muscle. It would just if there was a little bit more, it would be great. But I think that going back to what you were saying about the side twist, I think that it's very old school teaching methodology. I think to have like the front pelvic bones to be twisted to the side as much as possible because that shows off more side profile of the glute. And correct, if you were completely like made of plasticine and could bend in any direction that you wanted to, but what tends to happen is that most of us aren't that flexible where we can have our pelvis completely turned to the side and our upper body twisted completely to the front. So what often tends to happen is people prioritize their hips being turned to the sides, which often then comes at the compromise of their shoulders not being able to come round to the front as much. And you've got to remember for PCA they're looking for that X frame, so it's all well and good showing off that side profile of the glute, but if you're doing that at the cost of losing your upper body, then you're losing a big part of what creates that X frame.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I agree with all that to be fair. So
But I really love the look, and I think
yeah.
that the bikini choice of colour is really complementary. Nice
So
pops.
hopefully we will see Freya because obviously I mean I know she won by default, but she's got a really nice fit model look. So hopefully we'll see her at Universe, and hopefully there'll be a few people at Universe. So again, it's good to just
Yes.
get you all against each other. So if we go into, I'm going to try it
Just
now.
touching on that though, I would say like if you have turned up to any of the other shows and not won, still come because
Yeah.
the outcome of the show at Universe could be different with you all stood next to each other. So I've seen it happen plenty of times with Bikini in the past where like people have maybe come third in their regional show and then gone and won at British finals because they've come back with improvements and ended up being a better fit for the category
Yeah.
criteria. So just because someone beat you in a regional, don't let that put you off from coming back better and seeing if you look better in a
Yeah.
different
Just get
lineup.
get back up there again and just yeah get some more if you've worked on the feedback like even if your posing's improved anything it's going to be a better package because you just don't know it's very this is what happens when it's so subjective so then we have so the first time as wellness there was three and in the
Yeah.
wellness on the naturals was actually a lot busier there was six there so going off the wellness here, so we had the three girls, and I actually did manage to watch this class, and I would have found it very hard to judge this class personally, because it was Victoria as the winner, but I would say she had nice quads when she walked forward, but I would say she actually didn't have as much muscle, and when I think of wellness, I do think of a unbalanced look from bottom to top. She had definitely had the loveliest posing, really nice posing and presentation. So that walk there was nice. We can see some quad development there. But I'd say when she hits these poses, I'd say it looks reasonably balanced. Like if she was to come in a bit leaner, then it would be more of a balanced frame. So lovely presentation. For me, I think like the quads are nice, but again, if I look at like then who came, Charlotte came last. My feedback would be we do need more condition. Work on your posing, your confidence, your presentation, because if you look at the difference between Victoria and Charlotte here, but there is that, I would say, more unbalanced muscular development there, even though we don't have as much condition.
Yeah.
So it would be a hard one to judge, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it's one of those things with who has the muscle for wellness, but also who is presenting, who the condition, all that kind of thing. So what's your thoughts on all of that?
right. So I'm going to go back to Victoria quickly. And if I hadn't have seen the pose down video that you just put up, I would have reverted back to my commentary that I made before, where I was like, for PCA bikini, you need to be able to have a front pose that has a lat spread and a back pose with a lat spread. And so sometimes with the wellness girls, if they turn up a little bit more on the balance side of things, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would be good in bikini, because if they haven't got the developed upper body to be able to display that, then they're better off sticking with wellness. However, like I said, when you put that pose down video up and I saw Victoria doing the figure poses, I'm like, if she'd have been a bit leaner, she's got a lat spread on her. I think that she could have been very, very competitive bikini, and I think that she would have been potentially, because I saw that it scanned across and she did the power pose from the back. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like that's some upper body. So for me, I feel like with a bit more condition, that could have been like a really stand out PCA bikini look here. I'm like, wow, like that. You've got the height and width in the shoulders, nice open back, the glute development is there. And part of me is like, girl, and I know that we know each other to speak to, I'm like, get in bikini and show that off, because I'm like, that's wasted. I'm like, that would have been, yeah, I think with
I never want to insult. Yeah, I don't ever want to insult anyone to be like, if they're in wellness, to play in bikini. If you're in bikini, go into fit model, or vice versa if you feel like you need to size up. But it's because she looks so good in this shot.
I was like, I saw it. I was like, what? Like, to me, I'm like that in a PCA bikini class with a smidge more condition to just make that pop.
Just a bit off the back, because I think there's muscle there, so a bit more off the back. That's a sword winning look. It is.
So like I said, if I hadn't have seen that,
her quads are coming in, so pull that little bit off the back, hit this shot, and like show off your upper, because it's great. And then it would be a really good look, to be fair. So I think again this comes down to, with wellness, just like for the other two gals, like we can see there's a little bit of muscle there, but I would say it's a condition thing, isn't it, when it comes down to, as we've seen on some of the reels and stuff before, that like when we see that real exciting wellness is when that muscle is like dense and it really pokes through.
Yeah, but no, I'm inclined to agree with you that I think out of the three, sorry, I've forgotten the lady in green's name, but
Charlotte.
She probably had the more true to category criteria shape, but the condition wasn't in line with what the criteria would look for. So I think that probably on balance, out of the three of them, Victoria had the best balance of what they would look for in the category criteria, but in terms of shape and structure, I would say that, I get what you were saying before.
Yeah, so I may as well should we just flip between the two, so we're always comparing? Yeah. So for the naturals wellness, I'm just checking my numbers. There were 6 here. So if I get that up, And I make sure I have to keep checking I'm actually sharing the right page, and it's not just our faces again. So it was very busy for Naturals Wellness. So when it came down to it, one of the girls that did stand out for me was I've forgotten her name again, but let's pop her up. Yeah, it was this one. So Hayley, I think because she looks little, I always love someone that's little, but she just looked
Bias.
like got that muscle there.
Yeah.
Like, look, and I mean, she's got a great upper as well. So yes, well, oh, I don't know why it cut off there. That's sad.
But I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you though. Similar feedback to before. I feel like
Oh,
with
more
more
condition.
condition, it could be
Yeah, yeah,
Bikini,
yeah.
because she's got lovely wide clavicle with beautiful bubbly round
The delts.
delts.
Yeah,
Like for me, I feel like I'd love to see what a lat spread looks like on her because I'm like I just look at the look and I'm like, yeah, okay. I think a lot of people make a decision on whether or not they do wellness or bikini based on whether or not they've got quads, and it's like, but don't be fooled. Like
yeah.
us bikini girls at the top level, we've got quads, and that's often what separates the top bikini competitors from the ones that aren't hitting those top placings is they have developed and know how to activate their quads.
Yeah. I think as well, you've got to
So
remember PCA Pro Bikini is jacked. So if you come in, like we can see there's muscle there. If you come in leaner, that's a solid bikini look
bikini look.
because there's muscle there. And then we go into, so second place, it was Megan, who has competed on the PCA stage
Yes.
before. She came second in the, no, she won her first timers, the first
Yeah,
timers too.
I
So
remember.
yeah, so I wanted to make sure I got the right one because I do remember winning the wellness, but I couldn't
Yeah.
remember which one.
No, I
So
remember we spoke about Megan before, and we said that the
mhm,
shape seemed befitting of wellness, but just needed more muscle and density. But you can't create that in a prep. So,
yeah,
there's no point in her jumping into a different category to try to do better because her structure really does suit wellness, but
yeah,
it just needs more time and more size to be at
yeah,
the true. That's not me saying she shouldn't compete until she's ready,
yeah, to
but
be a
it just
massive.
might. Yeah, it just might mean that it takes a little bit more time to truly develop into what it can be.
She did drop me a message, to be fair, to say that she is taking like a 2 year off season after this. So she,
We
obviously,
love
because
that.
she is a first timer, she just wanted to
Yes.
see what, and she's really young. She wanted to just obviously get on stage, see where she's at. As we said, the structure is there. And she's got full on commitment to like a long off season, which is really exciting. I said it already, like I'm looking forward to seeing when she does get back to the stage because we can see like a posing presentation for a first season is so lovely. And we
Yes.
can see there is that development there. So for her, especially being so young, to take such a good off season and really commit to it is I've got a lot of credit for that, or credit, I've got a lot of
Yeah.
respect for that.
No, I think I've got no issue with first timers jumping on stage before they're ready. Like I know
Yeah,
that every
you need
every
to see the
gobshite on the
baseline.
I know that every gobshite on Instagram seems to have something to say about it, but I'm like the amateur league is for everybody as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, and everyone has their own motivations for turning up on stage. And for some people, it's just let me figure out if I even like this sport before I dedicate the time that it takes and the investment that it takes to make myself what I need to be competitive. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's obviously just about understanding that for some people it will take a bit more time to develop into what they need to be. And so I have massive amounts of respect for people that get on stage, go, do you know what, I need to develop before I can truly be hitting the placings that I want, and I'm going to take the time. I think that's true investment to the sport.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, you can always tell someone who's a first timer who might have just jumped in and was winging it, like, but she's taking the time to invest in this prep still. Like her posing is great, her presentation's great. She's doing a couple shows, like, and I think that's a big difference compared to someone that's just going, I want to just get on stage, and then you can see that they don't really know what they're doing. But someone that's then going, do you know what? This is something again, even if you don't know, like go to some shows and
Yes.
like see what the vibe's all about. Make sure you want to commit to a prep. Like you don't have to be one of those people. I did a 2 year off season before getting on stage, but
No.
just make sure you understand it a little bit more, like because it is that credibility to the federation as well and to yourself to be able to represent yourself in the best way, because especially as a first timer, that's your starting point.
Yeah.
So it
It's
should
just
be
about
about having.
understanding that if you are chucking yourself on stage without having invested time up front, that's okay. Like, that's perfectly okay. But it's also unreasonable for you to go into a prep having not done the work up front and expect to outplace people that have invested the time up front. You know, it doesn't mean it's unfair. It just means you jumped in before you were ready, and you kind of have to just accept what comes with that. There are people now that go, I want to be a bodybuilder and I'm going to build what I need to build before I turn up. And it's like, that's why people are like, oh my God, this person won their pro card in their first season. It's like, yeah, but they've been training like a bodybuilder for 3 years prior to jumping on stage for the first time. It's like, just because they're a first timer doesn't mean that they decided 8 months ago that they wanted to jump on stage and then chuck themselves into a show. So it's like, the less preparation work you do up front, the more you need to kind of accept that you are taking a chance, because you haven't had that time to develop up front.
And then this is who we had as our wellness winner. So I want to say Jolie. Jolie is our winner. So
Sorry,
again,
I'm looking like this because I can't. It's really small. I'm trying to see how I can make it bigger.
Joely.
Jolie. I would say Jolie.
Jolie. Yeah. So again, we can just see that there is just more muscle here. And it's always going to be hard being a wellness athlete and being a natural. Because obviously there is, unless obviously this is where it is a genetic sport and there's going to play a part here. But as a whole, we can see just, again, I'd say the posing, just we could make a few little tweaks, but the criteria in itself, she is more lower body dominant. We can see there is some muscle there. So as a whole, this is, who does fit the criteria more so I can understand why she won. So huge well done for Jolie.
Yeah. If I was just going to give some advice, I'd just say be a little bit more confident. You've got the physique and, you've got that confirmation now that you've got the kind of thing that the judges are looking for. So when you do present, be more certain about what it is that you're trying to show them. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Commit and be like, you're going to love it. You're going to like me energy rather than I hope you like this. And then it just creates a different kind of confidence,
Yeah, definitely. So that was a busy class, 6 girls in the natural wellness. And then we go to the juniors. So the juniors for the first timers there was only 3 in the juniors first timers, and the juniors on the naturals was 5. So we've got in the junior class the overall winner as well, which is Nia. Oh yeah, I want to double check her name. I want to make sure I always say everyone's names right. So we have Nia. So Nia was our winner when it comes to the and the overall winner as well for the first timers.
Congratulations.
So very confident as she was posing, which was nice. Something that I think we'll touch on as well is the fact that Nia won the overall for the first timers, and then we had, I want to make sure I get names right, we had M, who was in the Masters 35 plus, who also did the first timers and then did the naturals. So both, no, not Nia, Rose. I don't know why I've got Rose. Got Rose. Rose won. So we've got Rose who won. I've got my name so confused. I've written so many names. So we've got Rose who won. And then we had M who won the Masters. So they both won their classes on both days. But we had Rose winning on the first timers. And then we had M winning on the naturals, which could sound quite confusing in itself when they both won their class and they both would have been up against each other in the overall. So we can touch on that like maybe at the end or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a whole, lovely physique as a junior. So I'd say a nice balanced look. Waist is tiny, posing is done really nicely. Like the overall look looks really nice. So yeah, I would say she presents herself really confidently as well. That's something I did notice with all 3 juniors. Really nice confidence. I just touching them all. Really nice confidence with all of their posing, which is really nice to see. Like, it's nice to see anyway, but it's nice to see with juniors as a whole, because obviously you are going in a little bit younger. But yeah, lovely.
I always say juniors should come through with that like cheerleader energy. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? A little bit more fun, bubbly. Obviously, don't be that if that's not you. But I
yeah,
think that people put themselves under pressure to be like sexy. Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
as a junior, don't like. I always find it mildly inappropriate when people are like stroking their glutes or like trying to
Mm.
just overdo it with that kind of energy. And I'm like, just have fun, be
Yeah. So
confident.
I'm going to touch on Mia here just because she is my posing client, but it was really nice. Again, this is the energy that we like. It was really nice to see her just enjoy it because the hard work was done. So
Yeah.
again, like bringing your personality to the stage, but being able to just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the thing that like, by the way, Rose, you've got a killer back shot.
Yeah.
Like that back shot is very strong. The only thing I would say is just watch for having your hand slightly behind the back, because I think ever so slightly there might have been a little bit of back pinching, and I think that if you make sure that those lats are nice and open, then that makes that look even more impressive.
Yeah.
But like, beautiful shape for bikini. Like, I do think that she has lovely shape for bikini, and it's just balanced. It's just a case of like, the thing that's going to make it better is just more depth of muscle, more muscle maturity as she continues to develop. But you know, the confidence is nice and understated, you know, not over the top or in your face, just that calm confidence,
Yeah.
which I like. Yeah, I don't. I can see why. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
seen any of the other competitors yet, but like, I can see why she would have been a contender for an overall without looking at the others.
Yeah. So then obviously if we flip that to the naturals, so obviously there were more juniors, but obviously she did the class for this one as well. And then she took the win on this one as well. So
Is it a
double,
different bikini,
yeah,
or am I making that up?
different
Love a
bikini.
bikini swap. I'm not gonna lie. If you had to ask me, I like the purple one. Not that it's up to me, but I liked the first timers look with the curled hair and the.
Yeah.
I don't know why that just
I
seemed
like
to.
I like the two different looks though. It's a nice little contrast, isn't it? Because it does make you go, is that the same girl? So I like that she's trialing different looks.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you always need a new bikini before anyone thinks that they've got, it's already financially expensive.
No,
But
I mean,
if you've got the bikinis and you want to try different looks, this is the best time to do it. She had a back-to-back show, you know, tan makeup, have a little play with what looks you like.
yeah, I mean, you're talking to the person that wears different color bikinis at every show, so this is by no means a criticism. I was just like, if you were wondering, I really liked the curled hair and the slightly
Yeah.
brighter bikini. I feel like it had more impact in terms of like an overall look. Not that this is bad, because it isn't, but they're both beautiful looks. But the other one had more impact, I think, for me. Because I can't really critique any differences in terms of like physique or performance, because it's very consistent. And I will
Yeah.
say, Rose, like, that's something that stands out to me, is that you are consistent. And that's
And
going
it
to
does look
only
like
work
this
in your
is
favour.
a benefit for a back-to-back show because obviously off the back of her win and the overall, I do feel she looks more confident in this posing. So, and that's the thing. If you could do a back-to-back show and get on stage more, that, and not even if it's back-to-back, but if you can get on stage a few times, your confidence will come with it. So, you know, if you can do a couple shows, you can watch yourself change so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So huge well done to all the juniors. And then we had, so this is where it got mad. So the first timers for Masters, they split the Masters 35 plus into short and tall. So you had the Masters 35 plus short, where it had 9 girls. You had the Masters 35 tall, which had 9 girls. Then you had the Masters 45, which had 8 girls. So it was,
45s, there were 8. That's
yep,
crazy.
it was busy. So we had the winner, Emma, of the Masters 35 short, also won the Masters 35 on the naturals as well. And Emma is who won the overall on the naturals day.
Okay. So,
So,
let me get my head around it. But no, I can see it's a very polished look. You know, nice fullness of the muscle pressing against the skin really nicely. I would say appropriate condition and muscularity. You know, if I had to pick anything to improve, I would just say just watch out for squeeze in the back in the back pose a little, taking away from that top line. But I'd say that with what she's working with right now, it's presented really nicely and appropriate for the category.
What I did notice, so just because I was really intrigued to see what the difference was, why, we got a junior one day and then we got a masters the next day. And I would say, I don't know if Emma and her coach or anything did anything differently, but flipping between how she looked on the first timers and then how she looked, let's share this one, how she looked on the naturals. I did compare photos, and she did look like she came in a bit fuller and sharper, like the
It
back
hasn't
shot.
shared, by the way. If I didn't. Oh, did you flick between naturals and
Yeah.
first timers? Is that what you did? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know if you were doing the side by side.
Oh no, I can try and get them up. I don't trust myself with this.
Don't worry, it's fine.
But yeah, she did
risky
look
business.
like. No, I don't know if I've got it up to be able to show it. No, I won't, it won't let me show it.
Okay.
So let's just go back. So she did look like, let's get that up, that she was, oh, my screen's now frozen. She did
My
look like
bad.
that she was sharper. So for anyone that would be interested, you could just probably do what I did anyway. But yeah, I do wonder if like what you might have done differently. But when I did think, oh, it's just interesting to see if the physiques changed. Rose's looked very similar, but Emma's she did look like she came in a bit leaner. So obviously
Do you
we
know what
don't
it
know.
looks like? I don't know if this is the case, but her muscle bellies look fuller. So
Yeah, so she
I
looked
don't know
a bit
if that's why.
yeah.
But so, and this is a bit of feedback to take into consideration, is that sometimes the judges might say that they want more condition, and what they mean by that is they want to see sharper lines. Now, you and your coach will know whether that means you truly need more condition, or whether or not it's a case of if you're flat and the muscle isn't pushing against the skin, it could be a case of you need to pump the muscle up a little bit more, or it could just be you need more muscle density. Like, more condition necessarily doesn't always necessarily mean getting leaner. It can be being leaner, but it could also mean a fuller muscle or just more muscle density.
Yeah, if you've got the muscle there, because you can't fill if you don't have muscle. So don't go trying to think you need to fill up, and then
Yeah.
you realise that there isn't any muscle, and then you're filling nothing, because then that's when people look soft. So again, that's something that you and your coach should be able to kind of look at going through together. So I'm just going to pause her on, and I'll try and flick between these two. So obviously, so we've got her here on the naturals, and then
Yes.
if I try and share this.
Yeah, to me it looks like a fuller
Yeah.
muscle. So I don't know if you pumped
I'd
up
be interested.
differently
She
or.
had a nice plan meal or something, and then just filled some up. But yeah, so again, it could be a different panel of judges. It could have been, who your lineup is and who stands out. Like, there's many things. But I just thought, when you just some people might not have even acknowledged it or thought about, but to then know why they both won their class and both would have been an overall, but they the same consistent overall winner as two different overall winners. There could be many reasons, but I did find that quite interesting that she did look like she'd improved a little bit, which was cool.
Yeah, no, because you very rarely see that. Like, when people do back-to-back shows, it's often hard to do enough where you'll have such a dramatic change.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then the 35 plus. So again, we had 9 girls in this lineup. So Lisa, huge well done for your win there. And I love Lisa's power pose. Those shoulders are just so good, aren't they?
Wow.
So again, I think she showed quite confident posing, which was nice. Making the most of her upper body for sure. Like, if you've got it, show it off.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the performance doesn't give first timer energy. I'd say that. It's calm, it's smooth, it's collected. Yeah, love the wham shoulders. If I was going to give any feedback, I think a little bit more condition in
The lower.
the rear. Yeah, the rear shot at the lower would help. to make sure that there's a match, because you know that upper body is in. So you know, it's about remembering that when it comes to bikini, it's about balance, not just from like a size and muscle perspective, but also from a condition perspective. If your upper is super sharp but your lower isn't, that creates an imbalance in itself. So yeah, just I think it's there in the front. You know, a little bit more condition would probably, it wouldn't hurt, but I think it's most noticeable in the rear shot.
Especially as we've said before, like I think some people worry they might be getting too lean when actually when we said before, masters you can get lean. Like you're allowed to pull it in. So yeah, so I'd say obviously if we can, then that's where I go down. But like you said, really confident posing in herself there. Then we had such a short, so we had the masters 40 plus, so we had Natalie here doing a posing because in the there was 8 girls in the 45 plus, so another busy lineup. And again,
Some of these first timers are not playing.
yeah, as soon as
That's
they
a
switch off,
solid look.
yeah, legs. I'd be smiling like that. To be fair, legs and delts fully on, and it does make a difference if you hit a pose and you're not fully engaged and you're not on. Like, why are you not? Like, flex everything. So yeah, it's a really, really nice look. I'd say if I was thinking of anything, I would just be saying about like, because she's got abs, like Natalie, you've got really nice abs when they're engaged. So getting into those poses and not showing flaws. So like in that back pose, how we drop the glutes but then push them. So it's like being a little bit more obvious when the core isn't as tight compared to where it is, just because it looks so good when it's on. So it's more obvious when it's off. So the core, the glutes, when everything is on, it looks really, really good. So keeping everything on all the time.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, and I can speak for myself in this because my core control is abysmal. But like,
Mine
I
isn't
think
great.
what tends to happen, and I know that I do this, and I'm not sure if this is the case for Nicola. Natalie, is that if you don't have great lower back mobility, sometimes when you're trying to put that arch in the lower back, particularly in like the side shots, it can come with forcing the midsection forward. And I think that that's what a lot of people will tend to do is when they're turning. I know I do it, so this is like a criticism of self as much as it is anybody else. It's if people are thinking a lot about sitting into that glute and arching that lower back and then pushing their tummy forward at the cost of that, because it is really hard to keep your core super tight and arch your lower back at the same time. That can account for some of that protrusion of the midsection.
Because she also won the naturals. There was 5 45 plus in the naturals, and she won her class then as well. So again, another girl with another double win, but also another new look. And I think I'm here for it. I quite like seeing the different looks because it makes you go, is this the same person? So again, different bikini, different hairstyle.
It's not showing the video. It's just us again.
Every time I say show, hi.
I was like, I'd love to see it.
You're not going to see it. So there we go. Loaded now.
That's better. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So different bikini, different hairstyle as well. So yeah, it's. I think I prefer the red.
I agree. I prefer the red. I think it just has more. I don't know if you can attribute a colour to a look, but the look felt more polished in red. I think it had more impact and more contrast, and it. Yeah.
It's
I feel like that's
So, but I mean, if you go into Universe and you want to play with a different bikini, keep bringing those colours out. But huge well done for a double win, because that's a good achievement, especially against such a big lineup as well.
You don't know what your colour is until you've tried different things.
And we've all been there to try them.
Yeah.
Then we had the ladies bikini short, and we had a double winner again in the short class. So we had, I want to, please correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say Muna. It's M-O-O. Let's get her up singly. Oh no, I don't know if I can pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Me, me, Mehumem,
Memuna. Memuna?
Mehum, yeah. Oh,
Memuna, I would pronounce it as. But I
I'm
might
so
also be
sorry
wrong.
if we absolutely bodged that up. But lovely look and lovely double win. So when she hits that front shot, I really like her balance between her delts and her legs.
Yeah.
So it is a really nice shot.
Do you know what? Like,
Um,
I'm super
Look at that
impressed
for
with
a back shot.
the first timers at this show are not playing.
No, like
Like
that. It's just
in
those glutes,
general.
like those legs. Like just look at them. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's a
Um,
solid look. That.
Especially, like I said, there's quite a few of the short girls, which obviously we always love the short girls representing. But I don't know if we've got. I don't think they actually posted a actual reel of her posing on the.
Oh.
They've done her getting her award and like being placed first, but I don't think they've actually placed like done her reel of her posing to be able to see. So she wore the same bikini,
Okay.
which was lovely because I think it really suits her, especially with the dark hair. But they didn't actually do her. If I share this tab, which is where it doesn't share it, all they've shared is her getting a winner.
Ah.
So that's
That's a
sad that
shame.
we haven't seen another look, but well done for a double win. So,
Yeah. No. I really like this look. It
especially
has
like
one of
look
those
how busy it
looks
was.
where it's like, you know, when she does the power pose, where I'm like, that could be a figure look, you know. I'm not saying that she should do figure or that she's out of
Yeah.
place in bikini, because as we know,
Mm.
like bikini masters and bikini trained aren't that far off each other. And we always say that bikini trained could probably cross over into figure. But yeah, I look at that power pose and I'm like, that's, yeah, solid.
I think it's just her glutes. When I see her hit a back shot and those, and it's like a solid glute with glute ham tie.
Yeah, but the
So
thing
yeah,
is, the figure girls have glutes. Like, I think
yeah.
that, you know, if you look at Meg McClevely, like,
Oh,
she's got a solid
she could
pair
do
of
whatever the
glutes.
fuck she wants. She could do wellness if she wanted and hide her top line. She can go into figure. She's just muscle everywhere.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So it's like, I think that, you know, I think some people, and I've heard that before, where they're like, oh, glutes aren't as strong, so figure. And it's like, no, like, you still have to have glutes, you just present them differently.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was our lady short. I just want to see that one more time because they are they're great. And then
Love it.
we went into the ladies' tall. We had four girls in the ladies' tall, and then the winner was Kelly for the first timers class.
Oh, Kelly's posed with me a couple of times
Is
before,
she?
bless her. Yeah, she came up for a black ice fitting and had a posing session with me, and I've done one online with her before. But it's nice to see her doing well, bless her. Like, and this is probably the most confident I've seen her, because I think that's probably, and she'll probably laugh when she listens to this, but when we've posed together, it's be like, come on, girl, like, have some confidence in yourself. You can do this. And it's just nice to see her getting up there and delivering it. Like, do I think
Oh,
that it could
nice.
be a more confident performance? Yes, but it's her first time on stage.
Yeah.
But I would say that she's overcome a lot of her, or it appears like she's overcome a lot of the anxiety that she maybe had when she was posing with me. So that's nice to
Oh,
see.
that's nice. Because I do feel that walk from the back to the front is the longest walk, and I am so guilty. I used to do it a lot. I have to consciously make myself look up because it's like, obviously, as we can see Kelly doing it here, looking down, because it's like it's when you're nervous or you're not very confident. It's like a subconscious thing to just look down because you're like, everyone's looking at me. So you just kind of look down till you get to where you need to be. And I've done it so many times before, because even when I've gone, I'm going to slow down. Obviously, I'm better now. But when I think back to when I was like that, it's like a default to be like, well, if I don't look at them, then it just makes me get there quicker and then I'll switch on again. But it
Yeah.
does make a difference if you can, even if you don't feel confident. It does feel like the longest walk ever, but even if you can just keep like looking at the camera, find your friends and family in the audience. That, like, for me, I'll always try and find Matt because that's a natural smile then. rather than
Yeah.
like as I'm walking forward and it's really awkward thinking I'm never gonna. Even when we got married and I was walking down the aisle, my mum was telling me to slow down because I was just like legging it because I was like, everyone's looking at me.
Do you know what it is? I think it's a long time to just be staring in one direction. Like, I know when I do the walk to the front, I don't necessarily look down, but I know I look in different directions.
Yeah.
So I might like look off to the right, look off to the left. I look down as I'm coming to the spot. I know I do it. Like, it's not a conscious thing, but it's like, I feel like staring just solidly in one
Yeah.
direction. You're left with yourself for that whole walk, and you're just staring in one direction. So it's like,
And then your smile goes before you've even got to the end.
But yeah, you can mix up where you look. But I always say that looking down or looking away normally gives a kind of don't look at me energy. And that kind of body language is very shrinking. Whereas you want to have that, no, like, look at me
Yeah. So this
vibe.
transfers quite nicely to the winner Emma for the naturals for the bikini tool, because when she walks forward, she
Those
again
glutes,
it's even
sorry.
silly things like how you hold your chest up. Like if we bend down, we're more likely to look down. Like when we see her walk forward in a minute, like she presents herself with a lot of confidence. And a key body
Yes.
language thing here is chest up. Like that's
Yeah.
something I noticed straight off the bat with her posing, is she doesn't let anything slouch. It's really confidently executed.
Yeah, she's got very effortless posing in a sense of you could like it's not that she's not trying. You can tell she is, but she's not forcing it too
Yeah.
much, which is nice. The thing that stood out to me, I was like, that glute depth is impressive. But yeah, the effortlessness, like we've spoken about effortlessness before in the past, and I feel this kind of embodies that in a sense of it shows everything it needs to show without looking like it's being
Yeah.
forced. This I
I
kind of
think,
feel is that.
yeah, that's the biggest thing with posing is it's not to say she isn't posing well, because she's posing really well, but the key to posing is it needs to look like you are naturally like, oh, I'm just hitting this pose. When inside you are flexing the hell out of every muscle and you are probably in pain. And if you're not in pain, you've either got great mobility or you're just not posing correctly. So you need to be able to be a contortionist, hit those angles, but the judges don't want to see your face in pain. They don't want to see double chins or chest up, or, it needs to look like you are just flowing and it's breezy. And that's exactly what she's doing, even if it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was everyone because there was no trained for first timers or naturals.
Okay.
So
No, I
that's
think it's as far as lineups go. I feel like this weekend for PCA has probably been the most consistently strong lineups that we've seen in terms of standard and turnout, which is nice. But I always say that you typically expect that the closer you get to your championship shows. So I'm
yeah.
excited to see how Universe goes down.
Yeah, it's gonna be it'll be interesting to see how many people do the Saturday. Because some people don't like the idea of doing back-to-backs. They just, especially if they've qualified, they just want to focus on that Sunday. And some people like to do it like the day before. So it'll be interesting to see how busy Saturday is.
It is
And then
normally
Sunday,
a quieter show
I normally
from
think it's quieter.
experience.
Yeah, I normally think it's quieter, but it'd just be interesting to see if anyone's wanting that little bit of extra stage time before getting on, or if anyone has left it like last minute because it is quieter and they're like, if they do want to just get that qualification to do the next day, that's normally like a more, I don't want to say tactical, but it's normally like the decision
Yeah,
people
yeah.
make if they do that the day before. But then I do think Universe is going to be quite busy. I mean, we were talking about this before, like even just the pros coming out, like being announced. There's quite a few pros apart from Masters Bikini. I've only seen one announced, but for some of the guys, it's looking quite busy. But obviously, Bikini is getting announced quite busy now as well. So
Yeah.
between that and then who the Bikini girls that actually get their pro card, that show is going to be busy.
Yeah, no, it's exciting because I would normally say out of all of the championship shows, Universe is probably the quieter one, typically.
I agree.
But yeah, we'll see what goes down.
Yeah, it'd be exciting, but yeah, because last year is where I got my pro card, and there was Christy was the only
I
one
remember.
that came. Yeah, so she was the only one that came as a pro, and then there was only two me in bikini short, and then there was the bikini tall winner. So there's only three of us in the pro show.
Yeah.
Whereas already there's, if junior, short, tall, and trained all get their pro cards, because masters, you will get your pro cards, but there's a masters pro show, so that's why I'm not counting you. Then based on, I think, the pros that have announced already, you're looking anywhere between 8 to 10 girls on stage. So it's way busier. So
Yeah, no, it'll be nice because, like I say, you normally see that kind of turnout at British and at Worlds. I'll be interested to see what happens with Masters because normally, or what I've noticed since they brought out the Masters division, is that the Masters pro lineups have generally been bigger than the standard bikini lineups. But I think for Universe it might be different, but we'll see.
yeah, it'd be exciting. But I will keep you in the loop because obviously I will be there.
Yeah, can't wait to see.
Yeah, so we will see how it all goes. And I think that's everything. Do we need to cover anything else?
I think we're sweet.
No, that's it. So, again, same as before, like, share, subscribe, tell us what you want to see. If you're going to be at Universe, say hi.
Hey.
Let us know what you want to be cover, what you want us to cover. And, yeah, we will see you in the next one.
Much
Bye.
love. Bye.